This episode is about more of inner analysis. If the people who are watching go to the end of this, they may have some revelation or insight in their lives, especially if they are married. We ask a lot, why is this thing happening to us? Why I attract this person? When Maharishi Parasara spoke about Jyotish, and I see this, I mean, 5,500 years ago, he must have knew a lot. I mean, for someone to say the fourth house is the mother and the Bhavat Bhavam is the seventh house is the partner, and the Bhavat Bhavam of the father is also the seventh house. We find ourselves attracted to the partner that we had the memories or the vibrations of our past in the seventh house. I think there is an incredible insight in Jyotish, especially in understanding ourselves better. If you start to see the pattern, then you will know it's you, it's not them. It's you who is attracting this kind of relationships.
It sounds like the heart is shared with the spouse. That's what it sounds like. That's an oversimplification, but that's what it sounds like.
A lot of people get their success because they want a good relationship, and a lot of people lose everything when they lose their partner.
Yep,
they lose their career, they go on like they lost everything, they lose their mind sometimes.
Yep.
Because they have lost what they have considered their other me, or their mirror, or their soulmate.
Hi, John. Okay.
Good evening, Dr. Gary.
I'm okay, John. How are you? I understand you have an interesting discussion on Bhavat Bhavam for us.
Yes. Today we will talk about the Bhavat Bhavam from a spiritually growing perspective, from a perspective of someone who is looking more in this life other than the material gains. So I prepared something for today, but before we start on the Bhavat Bhavam, I just want to give an introduction about you so that the people who follow my channel know who you are. Dr. Gary Gomes, he is a very well-known Vedic astrologer. He used to help me in around 2007, 2006 with my questions, with my setbacks in understanding some point of view in the Vedic astrology or Jyotish. And he is, I think, a participant in the Saptarishi Astrology magazine, which is a very well-known astrology, maybe the best in the world, I think. And he also is a very important member in the American Astrology Council, I think. He was at one point a president, and at other points the vice president.
Yep, that's true. I'm working College of Vedic Astrology too, and I also taught at Kepler College, but I no longer teach at Kepler. So, right.
So basically, this was the background of Dr. Gary Gomes. So maybe we can start with our work today. So first of all, we are going to ask, what is Bhavat Bhavam, and how did this idea first started? Because at some point, some may doubt about this method. We will try to make things clearer now. So basically, the Bhavat Bhavam is house-to-house connection or relationship. So, for example, the Bhavat, let's say if the second house represents the family, wealth, speech, or this kind of things, there is a Bhavat Bhavam connection to it. That is the third house, because it is the second from the second. If you want to know the Bhavat Bhavam of the fourth house, it is the fourth from the fourth. It is the seventh house. If you want to know the Bhavat Bhavam of the seventh house, it is the seventh from the seventh, that is the ascendant or Lagna, and so on, so forth. So today I am going to concentrate on the first house, fourth, seventh, and 10th. And we are going to try to see the connection between these houses. So just to clear the suspicion about if the Bhavat Bhavam is mentioned in the classical books, maybe it wasn't mentioned directly, but Maharishi Parasara, when he hinted about the Maraka houses, they are the 8th house, the 12th from the 8th. And he also said that the 3rd house, the 2nd house, is also a Maraka house. So the 8th from the 8th is the 3rd house, and the 12th from the 3rd house is the 2nd house. That's why we tend to believe, or we almost know, that the system of the Bhavat Bhavam is actually a concrete system in the Vedic astrology, because there was a hint from the greatest modern astrologer, I mean in the latest 5,500 years, which we have his books, Maharishi Parasara. So we tend to believe, or we tend to know, that this system really works. Now, coming to our point today. In my opinion, our goal in this episode is a bit of spiritual perspective of the relationship between the partner and us. The partner, which means the 7th house. So we are going to understand more what the partner really represents. We are going to talk about the Kendra houses acting as Bhavat Bhavam. We will start by the Lagna, the first house, which, by the way, does not have a Bhavat Bhavam because it does not share its qualities with any other house. That's why Lagna is unique. That's why many sages said if Lagna is strong, one is protected, even if other houses in the chart may be weak. And if Lagna is weak, one may not reach his goals, even if other houses in the chart are strong. I mean, this doesn't need to be taken literally, but it makes a good point in our experience.
Right. And just a question, John. How do you judge the strength of a house?
The strength?
Yeah, how do you judge the strength of a house?
There are, of course, multiple points we need to look at. First of all, we are going to see if there is a planet in the house.
Okay.
If that planet is a benefic or it is a malefic. So if it is a benefic, the house gains points. Depending on the nature of the benefic planets, if it is Venus, for example, or it is Jupiter, they both bring a lot of knowledge, but every graha has its own unique way in giving its effect. Jupiter brings a lot of knowledge. Jupiter also brings a lot of religious or scientific growth and discipline in the same time, and expansion. Venus can be more mystical at times. It can give some hidden powers at sometimes. It gives also affection and attachment in the area it is aspecting or it is present in. So if it is a malefic, if there is a graha malefic in a certain house, there, depending on the graha, if it is Mars, it can be a harsh actions from the native or on the native. If it is Saturn, it can also give some setbacks, delays, or some like darkness in this house, depending on the situation. Now, the other points, we have to see the Lord of the house, where it is positioned. If it is positioned in certain houses like 6, 8, or 12, it can be difficult. It loses power. If it is posited in a trine house, it's positive, and so on, so forth. And we have also need to see the aspects, the influences on the house. We also need to see the Vargas. We need to see the strength of the house lord in the divisional charts. Every house has its own divisional chart. Let's say the house of marriage, like the seventh house, also luck, fortune, we can look at it in the Navamsha. The D60 Shashtiyansa also can talk about everything. We can look at it for all the houses. We can determine the strength of the house by looking at the D60, the Shashtiyansa. We can also, there is something also very important in the next episode when we are going to talk about the retrograde grahas. There is something very important. I will talk about it and I will connect things together. But I have noticed that the Bhava Lagna, Hora Lagna, and the Ghati Lagna are very strong in determining the effect of the grahas in determining the strength of the houses and areas of life. I use it very much. I mean, to me, I take the Lagna very seriously, but I also look at the Ghati Lagna, Bhava Lagna, and Hora Lagna again. So I noticed that Lagna alone can be 50% of the strength. The other three can give around 50% of strength. The other three Lagnas. The special Lagnas, which Maharishi Parasara clearly stated that those three Lagnas can be used as a normal Lagna, determining from the time of the rising of the sun. Those other
can I just interject something? I think those other Lagnas, I think most courses I've seen tend to those ignored up front or pushed way back. I actually think those should be taught earlier on than they usually are, because I agree they're extraordinarily important. That was the only observation I had. Go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
Okay. Yes, I think this is a good point. So in Jyotish or Vedic astrology, the Lagna represents the self, the soul. It also represents the general luck of the native, its character and nature. It represents luck, courage, virtues. I mean, especially virtues. This is basically the Lagna. Now, we are going to talk about the fourth house. Now, what does the fourth house represent? Because this episode is about more of inner analysis. If the people who are watching go to the end of this, they may have some revelation or insight in their lives, especially if they are married. The fourth house represents intimate people, the mother, home, ancestors, the land, especially the land that we grew on. It also somehow represents fate. Also, it represents deep emotions. I think the fourth house has deep and unique attributes. Those deep and unique thoughts may be represented in this house, as it is a part of the triangle of mysticism, like Bapin Behari called it. There is a triangle of mysticism, the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses. So I think we lost the connection, or it's okay.
Oh no, we're okay.
Okay.
We're still connected.
So those houses are a part of the mystic forces that may be seen even more easily and perceived easily as the 8th and 12th houses, but the 4th is the most mystic of them. Some may not see this clearly, but the deep emotions and secrets, those thoughts that are buried deeply in each of us, that can only be shared with family members or mother or very, very close friends or relatives. So that's why things that are hinting in the 4th house are very deep and very kind of subtle in a way. So now we are going to jump on the 10th house, not the 7th house. In a bit, I will explain why. Now we come to the 10th house, which is somehow the opposite of the 4th house in everything that it all represents. The 10th house is the house of action. The 4th house used to represent the house of emotion, but now the 10th is more concrete. It is the action we create, the karma we do. What we create may be the result indirectly of the nature of lagna, our basic characteristics. The 4th house, what we really feel inside, what we really have emotions inside of us, and the 7th house, our way of handling with other people or with our partners. The 10th house is what we actually do in the other world or the outer world. It kind of represents authority, reputation, destiny, and legacy. It is kind of the house of ambition and achievements. This is all important in a way just when we start looking at the 7th house. Now, I think it's time to talk about the 7th house, because I think it is one of the most important houses in the relationship and could be one of the most important houses maybe after Lagna. We will try to divide this house into two. The first part is the visible part. We will call it like this now. The other part is the invisible part, or the deeper part. It is very well known that the 7th house represents marriage. Also, it represents in the modern world business and partnership. So the Lagna, or the first house, is the self, while the 7th house represents the opposite. Because of the 180-degree opposition of the Lagna and 7th house, they must represent the opposite of things. One is the self, the other is the outer world, or the part that may be the farthest. It looks like the farthest. So it's the other people, or we may call them the aliens. I mean, not the aliens from other planets, but the people who are not common to us. In this episode, I would like to call this house the other me, or my mirror. Now we will try to explain why I have called it the other me, or my mirror. Let us try to understand, or to look, what is the 7th house. What we can dig from the 7th house. The 7th house is the Bhavat Bhavam of the 4th house. So kind of it has the qualities, or it projects the qualities of the 4th house, the emotions, the deep emotions, the secrets. So that's why sometimes we tell things to our partner that we usually don't talk about them to our friends. It is a very known concept that married couples do share high degree of secrets with each others. So maybe that is because the seventh house is the Bhavat Bhavam of the fourth house. I mean, the fourth house projects itself again in the seventh house. Was that clear? Was the idea?
Yes, it was. It sounds like the heart is shared with the spouse. That's what it sounds like. That's an oversimplification, but that's what it sounds like.
We will go deeper in this. So again, we are going to say that the fourth house, we find our secrets, our intimacy, our comfort, our home, and even our care in the seventh house. You know, those small things or important things that we carry with our mother or with our family when we were young, we try to find them in our partner, our intimacy, comfort, home, and this kind of things. There is a kind of relationship that somehow is related to our early part of life, mother and home. I mean, with the fourth house and the seventh house. Usually, we subconsciously kind of attract people that somehow vibrate on the same level as our past. So the fourth house is the house of the past, somehow, because it carries the deep secrets, it carries our deep thoughts, and everything we have taken from our family and ancestors. So now we are going to try to explain more about the 10th house. Again, the 10th house finds its Bhavat Bhavam again in the 7th house. The 10th from the 10th is the 7th house.
Yep.
So what can we understand from this? So in the relationship in our chart, the husband of our mother kind of is represented in the 10th house. Because our mother is the 4th house, the husband should be the 10th house. So a part of the relationship that our father had with our mother, or vice versa, can be found in the 10th house, and again can be found in the 10th from the 10th, that is the 7th house. Yep. Okay. A father as an independent person, other than the perspective we had being the husband of our mother, can be more described in the 9th house. But this is an independent way at looking at the father as an individual, not as a husband in the family we were born in. So a lot of times we find support with in our ambition coming from our spouse or our partner. You know, a lot of people usually are encouraged more to take risks or to have better ambitions or to have better goals in life, especially when they have a partner, if they are connected with someone. Especially the male, he can undergo a lot of hardship and cross a lot of difficulties for the partner, and sometimes with the help of the partner. There is a saying that goes, behind every great man, there is a woman. I think there is a great woman. That is, of course, if the 7th house, the 4th house, and the 10th house are in a good position at the time of birth. So a good woman in our life may super influence and have a great impact on our image in the outer world. You know, the woman in our life, like our mother, when we were young, our mother used to buy us the clothes, and she had she was responsible of the image. When we get married, we find that again in our partner. We start influencing each other. If you wear this, it would be better. If you do this, it would be better. So kind of, we find that relationship very strong with the partner. It can also be represented in the food, clothes, sometimes even behaviors. We may find some behaviors that are similar. You know, when analyzing the birth charts, I tend to see that if the seventh house is good, I can find the positive aspects of the mother found in the partner. If the 10th house is good in the chart, I tend to find the positive aspects of my father or the relationship that he had with my mother. The positive aspects I could find them in my partner. In my personal experience, I've seen this. I've seen it in other people's, also in other people's life. The ones who consult me about their marriage or their destiny. I find a lot of relationship between the parents and the partner. Sometimes even I found the behaviors. Sometimes I hear this a lot, especially when the chart is good. Someone tells me that, you know, my wife does this to me just like my mother. Yep. Sometimes when the houses are in a malefic aspects, I hear a lot that, you know, my partner is just like my mother or my father. She does the same mistakes. So I find this incredibly strong in the relationships. So it's kind of, we are attracting the same vibration we had in our childhood in our partner.
Yes, I think that's exactly correct.
So when I you know, those things gives me a lot of insight about when Maharishi Parasara spoke about Jyotish, and I see this. I mean, 5,500 years ago, he must have knew a lot. I mean, for someone to say the fourth house is the mother and the Bhavat Bhavam is the seventh house, the seventh house is the partner, and the Bhavat Bhavam of the father is also the seventh house. We find ourselves attracted to the partner that we had the memories or the vibrations of our past in the seventh house. I think there is an incredible insight in Jyotish, especially in understanding ourselves better. We ask a lot, why is this thing happening to us? Why is this thing happening to us? Why I attract this person? I know a person who attracts a lot of the same kind of people. I mean, in around 8 years, I know a guy that attracted like maybe 15 girls in his life. They have all the same pattern, the same, incredibly. I mean, I can't believe every time he tells me about it, it's like it's a magnet, he attracts it. The same type of mentality, the same type of pattern again and again. And the breakups are almost the same reason.
Now, in your opinion, Jean, is there anything you can do about that, like doing a mantra or doing something to change your behavior so you don't keep on making the same mistake over and over again?
I think I think this is why we are doing this episode, because Maharshi Parasara, in the start of the book, he said, we are doing this for the good of the people, so that the people, when they consult an astrologer, they need to find a solution. Not only, I mean, Jyotish is not like a psychic you go to, he will tell you this is going to happen with your life, and that's it. So
Yep.
a Jyotisher must find clues or solutions with helping you understand or have a different type of perspective about what is happening in your life. So the first thing is the self-analysis. You have to know what is happening inside of you. You have to know what you have to know about the fourth house, your emotions. You have to know about your actions. You have to know about your lagna. You have to know about the seventh house. All of this will play a big role in understanding yourself. If you understand yourself and you start to see the pattern, I think this is the most important thing. If you start to see the pattern, then you will know it's you. It's not them. It's you who is attracting this kind of relationships. It's you who is undergoing the same pattern. We talked about this, I think, in the first episode that we did together. I spoke about something that we called it the gift of Brahma. So Maharshi Parasara was explaining how to get out of the matrix, how to get out of the pattern. He said, worship and appease. It means to love and to accept. So basically, this is what Buddha says, or what Jesus says, what Pythagoras says. Basically, we need to understand that the other person is me. It's what I am generating. If we understand this and we see the pattern, I think we can work on the mentality. There should actually be a shift in the way we live. One of the things that I usually talk about is what we do in the day affects us a lot. What we hear in the day, the politics also has an influence on us, bad influence on us. I think when we try to isolate ourselves from the bad energies or bad influences or bad things that we hear in the news, and start doing something else, start listening to ourselves, start going into nature, seeing the Venus. Like now, Venus is if people on the 24th of February 2025, if you look just after the sunset at the sky on the west, you will see Venus. It's incredibly beautiful. So if you look at the stars, at the moon, the sun, you feel the sun, you take the energy from the sun, you look at the moon, you enjoy nature, you eat good food, you listen to good things, you learn from the teachers out there, from the gurus or from the teachers. You read Dhammapada, you read the Bhagavad Gita, you read the Bible, you read something. I think this all affects us. And I'm going to say this because I say it a lot in Lebanon, especially when I go on the radio or we do some interviews. We usually think that the law of attraction is something new. This is a misconception about the law of attraction, because we find in the Indian and Buddhist culture or writings, especially in Sanskrit or the Dhammapada, we find the roots of the law of attraction there. In Christianity, we also see that Jesus spoke a lot about the law of attractions. In Matthew 7:7, it's very clear. He says, knock on the door, it will be open. In another place, Jesus says that when you want something, believe in it as you already had it, it will be yours. So basically, he's saying about the belief that you really want this thing, and the idea that, I mean, I want like a good partner. So you need to believe that you can attract a good partner, and you yourself must be a good person to attract a good wife or a good partner or a good husband. Basically, I think, yes, there surely must be a way. The word karma means action, and when you make positive actions, you will attract good karma into you, good actions onto you. So when a person just analyze himself and observe, I think the observation is the most important thing. Just by observing, we will learn a lot of things. A lot will be revealed just by observing. I had a lot of insights just by observing myself, or observing what is happening around me, or observing the nature. Sometimes just by observing the stars, I get insights into some predictions about worldly effects, some things that could happen in the world. Just by observing some stars, somehow a connection starts happening, and things unfold itself. So there is someone also important in our modern history, in the philosophy field. The person's name is Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti was very much hated in his time by philosophers or even gurus because he was doubting everything. He used to question everything. So one of the remarkable things that he says is that one should observe. When he truly observes, he will have an insight. So when someone has an insight, this insight, if it's true, it will be divine. I will give another hint about why the insight is important. Around 2,500 years ago, Socrates also spoke about this insight in the allegory of the cave. He spoke that, there's a cave and people are there. They only see shadows. They don't see anything else. And they think that this is life. This is it. There's nothing out of this. Only the cave, only the shadows. They don't even know that there is fire behind them, and the fire is causing the shadow. So at some point, one of them wants to know more, wants to have, something happens to him. It could be an insight. Socrates says that at some point something will happen, God will intervene, there will be a turning point. So at this turning point, this person who is chained in the cave will try to break free from the chains and turn and look at the end of the cave and see what there is out there. So this also seems to be served by the insight. When you want to know more, when you want to see the truths, God will intervene. If you really want it, it will happen. So in Jyotish, there are two more things that can help a person that I recommend. One of them is the gemstones. I didn't know a lot about the gemstones, or I wasn't very much involved in them, but you, Dr. Gary, helped me understanding more about them. And I started using them a few years ago, and I seen the difference, not only on myself, on people that I recommend some certain gemstones to them, a special one, and they tell me that whenever they lose it or they keep it somewhere for a few days, that don't wear it, they get in trouble. So when I got mine and I put it, I think things got way better, step by step. I'm not saying it will definitely be a sudden change, but it can help. If you are trying to change for the better, it can be useful, a lot useful. I recommend the trine houses, the first, fifth, and ninth, especially when they are benefic, as we can wear them uh, on the first day of the grahas or the gemstones day. If it's the moonstone, it can be on Monday, and you can keep it there, especially the benefic ones. I think this can help because the sages in ancient times somehow they knew that everything is vibrating. They must have known, either by insight or either by any means. They kind of knew that every person has a certain type of a vibration, and each person has his special stone or stones. When he wears them, they can fix the frequency. It can help them develop better in this life, whether it is in his ambitions, in his knowledge, in his insights, in his career. Somehow it can help them going on a better routes. They take better decisions, or they can attract luck in the matters that they are focusing on. So the other thing that is also mentioned in the Jyotish community, in the Maharishi Parasara book, is the mantras. So a lot of people says the mantra is just a word. It doesn't have any effect. It's just something that you are repeating it. And what can happen from a word? So I will try, because I spoke a lot about this in Lebanon and on the radios, I will try to explain what I understood or what I gained in this field from knowledge. I will try to share it, and I will try to represent something that can be useful to us all. So we all know that the sages like Buddha, he said that the present is designed by the past, and the future is designed by the present. And in the Dhammapada, in the early verses, he says that the mind is their chief. Think with a pure mind, good things will happen. Think with the impure mind, bad things will happen to you. So by this, we think that the concept of the law of attraction that we have in the modern world is something new, or is a part of the new age or new discovery or something else. I think that this is a misconception, because I found this having roots in the oldest of cultures or religions or philosophies. Like when Buddha was saying about this, there are some roots in the Bhagavad Gita about this, and in the Indian religion. In the Greek philosophy, Pythagoras said something in the golden verses that is kind of remarkable or important. He said that luck doesn't come randomly on a person, but it comes because he drew it that way. This is in the golden verses. I'm not saying that I remember the verse perfectly, but he is saying that we are drawing our luck somehow. It's not randomly.
Yep.
So in the Bible or in the New Testament, we find that Jesus also is hinting about the law of attraction. He's saying, ask and it shall be given, knock and it shall be opened. So in another verse, he says,
Seek and ye shall find. Yeah.
yes,
Seek
seek,
and ye shall find. Yeah.
yes, seek and you shall find. Yes. So in another verse, Jesus says that if you want something, believe that you have it, and it shall be yours. So this is the concept of the law of attraction. If you feed your mind with mantras, if you feed your mind with the thing that you want, it can happen. It can happen. Now, why is the word very important? Like I started in the beginning, some people think that the word has no mass or it doesn't have any effect. You know, in the Bible, in the Revelation, it starts with in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. I mean, everything was created by the sound or the word. And I think in Eastern culture or philosophies or religions, we hear this thing too, that the word is an important aspect. There is also something that, Jesus spoke Aramaic because I live in Lebanon, and I think that his roots were found in Lebanon. He used to speak the Aramaic language, which was one of the sacred languages at that time. We use a lot in the movies, in Hollywood movies, the word abracadabra. That is actually or literally means in the Aramaic language, I will create what I speak. So this is also hinting us that the word is powerful, because in the ancient times they must have noticed that the sound or the word is important. There's also something that also happens in the Hollywood or movies, when especially in the Lord of the Rings or the Harry Potter movies, they say they use the word spelling when they are going to do magic. So what does actually spelling mean? Spell means it is spelling. It is the word. So they also use simply the word. So magic actually means the word. If you believe it, if you really want it, you ask it and it will happen. It shall be yours. Now, there is something important in this aspect that we should all know. This shouldn't be used in an arrogant way, because it can turn on us. It's not that you are God. It's not that you can do whatever you want. It is just that you want the help, and the universe will send you the help if you ask for it. And as everything, as every culture or every country, each country uses certain kind of language. Okay, if I don't know Greek, I won't be able to speak to any Greek person. If I don't know English, I wouldn't be able to talk to you. If I didn't know French, I wouldn't be able to talk to anyone who comes from that country. Or if I don't know Arabic, I won't be able to speak to any Arab. That is how we must know that the universe has his own language. When we learn it, we can speak that language. We can we can speak with the universe with its own language. It's not like something that it's very hard to do, or it's a very big secret, or it's like hocus pocus or something. There is actually a language that we can use it and we can prosper by it. We just have to understand about it. That's why we need to feed ourselves, starting from when we wake up, involve ourselves in positive mood, in positive things, reading some verse or few verses of something useful that can empower us in our day, involve ourselves in good people, get away from bad people, from the news. The news can be the bad people sometimes. War and fear can degrade us a lot. They can have a big impact on us. I will just give another information about how when you want some things can actually work. There is an author in the West. His name is Napoleon Hill. He has done a very remarkable book, very, very famous book named Think and Grow Rich. So basically, the important thing in this book is that he had made interviews with 200 people that they started their life poor and they got rich. So he wanted to know what if there is any connection with each other. He wanted to know if there is something similar they are all doing. When he interviewed them and he was taking his notes, he said that he noticed that all of them didn't quit. Even if they failed, they persisted about their goals. He also said that they didn't involve themselves with people who didn't actually get any success in their life, and they involved themselves or took advices from people who actually have been successful in their lives. So basically, I'm trying. This started from the relationship, the perspective that how can relationships help us in growth. And when you asked me about if we can change something about it, it developed to another interesting discussion. I think that this is what I collected from my investigations in this field. That if is there anything we can do about it? Is there anything we can change? So yes, we can do something about it. We can change things, but we have to want it. We have to work on it.
And the other thing that I've noticed is that if you and you mentioned it as well, persistence in and not getting discouraged if something doesn't work out quickly the way you want it to work out is also extraordinarily important. So if you try something once, like let's say if you're a kid and you can't ride a bike, the first few times you're not going to succeed. You might lose your balance and fall down. That doesn't mean you give up trying to do that. It doesn't mean that you give up the first time you try to tie your shoes and you can't. You know.
Yeah.
So that idea of persistence, if you practice, if you keep on trying the same thing over and over again, ultimately, as you alluded to in an earlier conversation, if you stay with something, ultimately you'll succeed.
Yes, I believe that much.
So do we have uh, additional thoughts on the Bhavat Bhavam and the karma?
Just just one final thought about the relationships, about the uh, how things really are in the chart, in the Jyotish, I mean in the Vedic astrology chart. Uh, when you look at the seventh house, it actually is Libra. It means balancing of things.
Yep.
It is also an air house. The wind governs them. The wind is the communication, the skills of knowing how to speak, how to get your message to the other person. You need to develop this skill.
Yep.
And if you look at the first house, it's the Aries, or it's the fire. And it usually doesn't like to stand still. It usually likes to do something. This is the male part. It likes to do something every time. So uh, actually, the relationship is about handling things, balancing things, uh, doing doing your right kind of communication with the partner.
Yep. And I think that's an important an important point to keep in mind. It's essentially you can catch, and again, this is an old cliche, but you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. Okay, so if you deal with your partner in a way that's pleasing to them, you'll you'll have more success.
Yes,
If you deal with your partner in a way that's
Dr.
difficult.
Gary, you have a point in this. I said it in the beginning, and I will add something about this, that a lot of people get their success because they want a good relationship. And a lot of people lose everything when they lose their partner.
Yep,
They lose their
exactly.
career, they go on like they lost everything, they lose their mind sometimes
Yep,
because they have lost what they have considered their other me, or their mirror, or their soulmate. Uh, Actually, the word soulmate, sometimes we think that it is a very big word, but if you look at it from a Jyotish perspective, the first and the seventh, it actually makes sense. Uh, you are the sun, she is the moon, the king and the queen.
yeah,
Uh, the sunrise, the lagna, and the sunset, or the descendant, or the seventh house. It's actually just the opposite. That's why we need to balance things. We have to be always in this balance. You have to understand the other has to understand you.
yeah. I think that's very important. Okay, John. I I think I think you made some really excellent points today. Okay.
Thank you,
Uh,
Doctor.
all right. So uh, I think I think we can end it there. Is that okay?
Yes, I think it's fine.
Right. Excellent job. Excellent job. Thank you very much.
Thank you for everyone who is still hearing this episode, and hope you enjoyed it, and hope it can be beneficial for all of us.
Right. All right. We'll see you soon. And so we'll talk about retrogrades next, and we'll go from there. Okay, John.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Great.